This hour is brought to you by Jeremy Temple Law Office of Bloomington. Personal injury, criminal, business, whatever you need, Jeremy Temple Law Office will get you taken care of.
Well, we're coming to your city. Gonna play our guitars and sing you a country song. We'll all be flying higher than a jetliner. And if you want a little bang in your yin-yang, come along.
Well, come on along and welcome aboard to another coronavirus-free edition of Indiana Sports Beat with Coral and Larry here on this Friday. Man, it is going to be a weird one. Todd Leary, this is the weirdest show I've ever done, and we haven't even done it yet. And I already know that, knowing going into this, what the craziness that we're going to be talking about.
Yeah, I mean, it's, I was trying to not be funny about it last night and sit there and think about what in the world is ESPN, like sports radio shows, us, like what in the world are people going to talk about for the next 3 months? I truly still don't have an answer.
It's just the enormity of what's going on, the enormity of things that are affected, which is everything, every walk of life almost. And it's just crazy to see. But on the program today, one of the few things that is still going on right now, at least as of now, is the IHSA boys basketball tournament scheduled for tomorrow in Seymour is one of the locations. Todd's son is supposedly playing up north at Logansport. But on the program today, Todd Sturgeon, coach of Floyd Central, he'll join us in the next hour where we will hear from Anthony Leal from Bloomington South as well. So we'll get their take on all this and talk about the tournament. But, man, the enormity is just mind-boggling here. It is just like throwing a blanket and just the speed of which this has happened is just catching everybody completely off guard.
Yeah, it is. I mean, I don't know. I don't really have I don't think any of us have anything to compare it to over the years. And, right now there's so many things that are canceling that kind of don't seem to make sense. Like, especially like the PGA Tour just canceling. I mean, that's an outside event. The players are already there. They already weren't allowing fans. You're out in the open air. So I wouldn't think that they could transmit something back and forth to each other. I don't even know. There's so many unanswered questions that I think everybody has right now. It's just, and you don't know what to believe. Like, you see statistics about this, and then you see something completely different on another, station. And it just is, it's crazy. It's nuts.
Yeah. That's the thing. It's the unknown. We don't know. And that's the problem. And I think that's led to an overabundance of caution by a lot of people, which, it gets to a point to where when everybody else does it, something like this, you have to, because if it were to go bad, that would just be, that's something that like an organization, if the PGA kept the tour going, I guess, and a player got it, that would not be good for them. So I guess everyone's in that position. But man, hopefully there's going to be a cure soon. I know that they're working feverishly on this, a vaccine, and this could go away almost as quickly as it comes if that were to happen. At least alleviate a great deal of the fear, but there's a lot of fear just because of the unknown, like you said.
Yep, there is. And I mean, so now you try to just analyze a little bit at a time, the ripple effect and what starts to happen. And I know we've already you see people keep bringing up, different scenarios. So from on a very small scale, then you go and you start to think about, the seniors in college whose, NCAA tournaments is what we were dealing with, and the Big Ten tournament. And so, that's what's on the forefront of our minds. And you start to think about, okay, well, what do you do? What do you do in regards to that? And you've heard a lot of people talk about, do you give the seniors an extra year, or do you, let them come back? And the ripple effects of we're talking about such a small aspect of life right now in that regard. But it's not small to those players. It's not small to the guys who are graduating.
Yeah, there's no doubt that it really sucks for the players more than anything that to have that taken away. But Stephen Kreisnick is going to be with us here in a little while. He wrote a nice piece in the Star that brings up a great question for spring athletes that have not had their season yet about eligibility for them. I'm sure that it's just going to be tough luck, but it's a great question. I mean, the guys that never even got to play a season because it's unprecedented. So who knows what can be done, what will be done, but it's a great topic to talk about, and we'll talk about that with him. But, man, you've played the game of basketball, and so the thing that we're most hit by right now is the loss of these tournaments. Can you imagine going through what you went through and the joy that you got and then having that last one to have it taken away before it happened? What would that? Can you fathom that feeling?
I really can't. I mean, I can certainly think back and try to, remember that long ago and what would have happened. I mean, just the emptiness and the unfinished business part of it would be something that would be hard to deal with. But I was thinking about it yesterday, and it's easy to say this, 25 years removed from the situation, but, I mean, it's almost like I was trying to think, what should the NCAA do? Do they let these guys come back? Do they, what kind of scenario can you paint here? And then you almost just got to look at it and be like, this is much easier to say 25 years removed, but, you almost got to say, hey, it's a part of life. It's a part of things you're going to deal with for the rest of your life. There's going to be some major disappointments, and you got to just deal with it and move on. But I don't even know. I mean, I don't know that there's not a better. I'm sure somebody that's pretty smart can come up with an idea that can be fair and give people the option at least of having that opportunity to come back.
Yeah, the IHSA, like I mentioned, one of the few that's still going right now. Yeah. I don't know that that's going to happen. We'll find out. They had a press conference yesterday.
And they announced announcing what's that?
Here's the sound from yesterday's press conference.
Appreciate you being here with us today. I've got some prepared remarks, and then I'll take questions after we're finished. The Indiana High School Athletic Association continues to monitor the impact of COVID-19 around our state.
He's going to say. I can tell you what he's going to say.
Right.
Blah, 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 blah. So that's where we are right now. I hope that it goes forward. I got to be honest with you. I hope that it does. Well, I don't know that it will.
Him leaving it open, and not him, like the IHSA leaving it open from the standpoint of saying we're continuing to monitor. I mean, I will be surprised if they don't come out today and cancel it. I certainly hope they don't. Will is at school right now, and they are currently proceeding. They haven't heard anything different from the players' perspective, so they're proceeding as if they're going to play tomorrow. And I just talked to him an hour ago.
I spoke to a parent of a high-profile player in this tournament, not named Todd Leary. Seriously, I thought it was serious. Talk to a different parent of a very high profile. They want to play.
Well, for sure. Yeah. I mean, I think they. I don't.
That
think
was coming from the parent. That was the parent. Of course, the kids want to play, but even the parents said that they hope they play. They know you got to be cautious, but they think that with the precautions they're taking, that it's good enough.
Yeah. Yeah, and I don't. Here's from okay. So let's look at it. Let's just step back and look at it from I can only base it on the information that I have and that what we know, and that I know they're allowing my son to go to school and be around all these other teachers and students and everyone else. So if it's okay to do that, I certainly don't see any problem with them being on a basketball court with 9 other people.
Yeah, some schools have canceled, but not a lot, really.
Not all of them. So I mean,
No.
He's at school, so I know Carmel's in school. So I mean, I'm surprised. I told you this yesterday. I was extremely surprised. The very first group to cancel of everything wasn't all schools across the country. I mean, if young people and elderly people are the most at risk, why do we have them all trapped in a building together?
Yeah.
And I don't get it.
Grand Canyon fires Dan Marley. I find that kind of funny because we talked about this off air. Neither one of us had ever heard of Grand Canyon, and you said, "Yeah."
Are they just trying to? I mean,
they've got such high standards, you know.
Yeah, and then you look at it and you're like, okay, who's the PR person for Grand Canyon? Because how could yesterday be the day you decide that's the right day to do that?
Exactly.
I mean, like there wasn't enough bad news going on yesterday. You needed to squeeze that in. Come on.
But the funny thing is, like you said before, he's the reason we know of
the only reason we know Grand Canyon University exists is because 7 years ago they announced they were hiring Dan Marley. I mean, I keep track of their scores just because I know Dan Marley's the coach.
Another good one from Nebraska, guard Chris Mack. He declares for the NBA. And then he deletes that post.
Yeah. Why wouldn't you? I mean, you just got kicked off your team for being involved in extracurricular activities you shouldn't have been involved in. And, why not declare for the NBA draft?
But he tweeted that he was planning to maintain his eligibility through the process, though. So rest assured. There you go. I know it's a load off your back.
Man, thank goodness. I feel
Chris
so
Mack,
much better.
He might come back. He may bless us with his presence again next year. I don't think that'll be for Fred
It won't
Hoiberg.
be for Nebraska, will
it? Won't be for Fred Hoiberg. I can promise you that.
Nope.
Yeah, I mean that's Fred's got to come in and do what Archie had to do, and he came in kind of had to do what every coach has to do when you come in. I mean, there's going to be things that just don't work with the new coach, and that was one of them.
Yeah, I mean, we've documented it, pretty much throughout the year about what an unusual situation it was at Nebraska all season long. I mean, the entire roster was not just new, but thrown together within about a 35-day window. And, from when Fred got that job, they had one remaining scholarship player, and they had to just go get transfers and freshmen and grad transfers and everyone. And that's after, the big schools and the high profile schools that already picked through all the grad transfers. So, I mean, it was a tough situation all the way around.
How about your boy Rudy Gobert? He's not on everyone's Christmas list right now. And I mean, obviously, I know he was diagnosed with this, but it's his teammates are saying that he was really, really careless. It's not just a lot of people saw the clip of him in that press conference making a light of it and going around touching the microphones, kind of making a joke. But there's an astute observation. The Jazz are fortunate that they don't have to get back together soon because he was being extremely careless in the locker room, touching players and their personal items. Just crazy. So there's some discord there. I mean, because this is a serious issue, which obviously he didn't know. But
okay, so I'm just going to say this from a not knowledgeable perspective because I'm admitting ahead of time I don't know. But how do we know he didn't get it from doing that? How do we know someone else didn't have? How do we know Donovan Mitchell
got
didn't
it somewhere
the virus first?
Yeah, he got
but
it
how do we know
somewhere.
Donovan Mitchell? Like we're blaming him all of a sudden.
Well, they're just
for being negligent. How do we know he didn't get it from trying to be funny? How do we know he didn't get it from touching somebody's cell phone in the interview?
Well, obviously he got it somehow, but that's the whole point of his carelessness.
I get it. But I mean, but
even if he did, his carelessness is what caused it, is what they're saying. And so either way, his carelessness is the issue, is what their complaints are what they're complaining about.
I just get it. It's just hard to sit there. I mean, that's people. Let's look at the big picture.
Oh, right. Yeah. If you want to point blame somewhere, there's a lot of blame to go way back further.
Right.
Of course.
I mean, am sorry no one tried to report on yesterday all day is, okay, so they've announced these two guys have it. Where are they and what are their symptoms? I mean, are they puking up blood? Are they on their deathbed? Do they have 110-degree temperature, fever? Like what is the deal? Or are they just sitting in a hotel room somewhere eating wings?
They're probably just in a hospital or whatever being monitored, I would imagine. Or yeah. or a hotel room or whatever, probably just isolated someplace.
But don't you think that would change people's perspective of right now? You're thinking these guys have it. Okay, well, they're not on their deathbed. They're not getting ready to die.
No, I don't think
so.
That's
Let's everybody stop freaking out about it.
Right. Yeah, I don't think it's them dying is the issue. It's everybody that could die can get it, because the bigger it gets, the bigger the chance of someone that can die contracts it. It's just keeping the spread down is what they're. But it's so new to us all that every normal thing that we would all normally do, you start to question about yourself. I'm like, oh man, gee whiz, did I wash my hands enough today? I'm asking myself constantly this stuff, and it's your entire life is being questioned right now. It's mind boggling.
The big question is, do you have enough toilet paper?
Funny thing is, while that is a joke right now, it may not be a joke in 1 week, because there are places where that was probably a luxury now. So I do for the moment. Thank goodness. We can hit a break, man. On that note, coming up next, Stephanie Kreisnick, we're going to talk about spring athletes. You got a good piece in the Star yesterday. You're listening to Indiana Sports Beat. Coyle Lurie coming to you from the Golf Club at Eagle Point Studios. Back right after this. Hello, everybody. Jim Coyle from Indiana Sports Beat. When I'm not covering the Hoosiers, you can find me at Bubba's 33 in Clarksville, located on the northeast corner of I-65 at Veterans Parkway. Bubba's 33 has hand-tossed pizzas, bold burgers, and ice-cold beer from a select list of local craft brewers. An incredible food selection, all made fresh daily. Whether you're meeting the team for that post-win meal in the family dining area or meeting friends for happy hour to watch the game on one of Bubba's 50 TVs. Bubba's 33 in Clarksville. Pizza, burgers, beer.
We all want a winning smile for those championship photos, and that's exactly what you will get at Reynolds Family Dentistry in Sellersburg. Reynolds Family Dentistry has been serving the dental needs of Hoosier families for over 30 years. Let Doctors Roger and Jay Reynolds take care of your family. Just off of I-65 at 809 South Indiana Avenue in Sellersburg. Call 812-246-3368. That's Reynolds Family Dentistry, 812-246-3368.
I'm Ryan Shaddy, and I'm a Hoosier. As a toddler, you could always find me running around in a cream and crimson onesie and a red IU hat reminiscent of those worn during the world-famous William Tell timeout, shouting, "Go Hoosiers!" Like many other alum, I chose to make Bloomington my home. As a civic and alumni leader, I have become very knowledgeable about our community and would love to share my insights with you as your realtor. Find me on Facebook or call or text me, Ryan Shaddy, with FC Tucker Bloomington Realtors at 765-623-9093.
Now that warm weather has arrived, it's time to hit the links, and there's no better place than the Golf Club at Eagle Point in Bloomington. Voted best golf course by the readers of the Bloomington Herald-Times, the Golf Club at Eagle Point is under new ownership, has new fairways and bunkers, and it's open to the public. When the round's over, there's cold beer and a full menu at the Eagle Point Pub and Bistro. Call 812-824-1100 to make a tee time. That's 812-824-1100. The Golf Club at Eagle Point in Bloomington.
This is A.J. Moye.
This is Dan Dawkins.
Hey, this is Michael Lord, former Indiana basketball player.
This is Indiana football coach Tom Allen.
This is Jim Coyle with the Indiana Sports Beat. You can always like and follow us on Facebook. Always follow the show rebroadcast on iTunes, Google Play, iHeartRadio, Spotify. TheDailyHoosier.com is a great place to sign up for each and every day. Or, of course, on 97.7 The Ref in Evansville.
Some of the best sounds you'll ever hear are generic. Safe. Effective. Even money-saving, just like FDA-approved generic drugs. Even if they don't come in the exact same color or shape as their brand name equivalents, they have the same key ingredients and go through a rigorous review process. Talk to your doctor or pharmacist today and visit fda.gov/generic drugs. Generics are safe, effective, and can save you money. You'll like the sound of that.
Hey, this is Jordan Halls, former Indiana Hoosier. Keep up with Indiana sports on Indiana Sports Beat.
Today's guest is brought to you by Reynolds Family Dentistry of Sellersburg. You need $1 million smile for those championship photos, and that's exactly what you'll get with Reynolds Family Dentistry. Welcome back to Indiana Sports Beat. Coyle Leary coming to you from the Golf Club Eagle Point Studios here on this Friday. Quiet one. Going to liven it up a little bit. Stefan Kreisnick from Indy Star joining me now. How are you, brother?
Good, man. How are you doing, Jimmy?
Cannot complain. Todd Leary's along with us as well. Hope that was a good piece you had in the paper yesterday, but that's a great question, more importantly. But there are so many questions. That's a great one to start with. But, man, just the enormity of this. I know you're younger, so you've got less experience in that regard. But even coming to someone older, I'm telling you, this is mind-boggling to us. So I can't imagine what it was like to a younger generation to see that. Does a younger person look at this?
Yeah, I mean, Jim, you're asking quite a complex question. I think every asset of this revolves around such a complex answer. I mean, when you look at it from my perspective, I've been covering IU athletics this is my third year now because I'm wrapping up my junior year. That seems like it's wrapping up a little bit sooner than I expected. But for a lot of these, seniors that have been covering, IU basketball, I know you know some of the reporters that have been around. I mean, we all enjoy covering the sports, and we all love going to these games and stuff like that. I mean, that's been stripped away from us, and especially for those seniors, you feel for them because they were going to get to cover an NCAA tournament. What it seemed like for their first time, here while they were at Indiana. So, yeah, I mean, it's weird. A lot of us are anticipating going into this next month or so not being able to watch any sports, which kind of seems like, what are we going to talk about now? What are we going to do? I mean, I know Netflix is probably about to start booming, and people are going to be on social media a whole lot more than maybe they even were. But, yeah, it's weird. It's weird, Jim. Like you said, I'm not even sure what to expect these next few months. I mean, not watching sports, I'm not sure what I'm going to do. I don't know what you plan on doing going forward. But, yeah, it's such a complex issue that there's so many assets to any answer that revolves around any question.
Yeah, we're open for suggestions. And when I say younger, I just meant this generational because we're old people is what I meant. I was cracking more on us being older. But it's even for the people like us that have been through much, much more. This is still such a thing that is just you don't know how to approach it. And like you said, what are we going to do as a society? Well, maybe some good will come out of it, but it won't be sports-wise. Maybe people start talking more. Who knows? Maybe they write letters. Good gosh, it's crazy.
Hey, Stephen, as soon as you said that people are going to be on social media more, I immediately started thinking about how bad this really could be because that's about the last thing people need to be is more on social media. But yeah,
if they're on social media anymore than they already are, that shows we got some steps to go.
So we got to get it fixed right away. There's no doubt. But I mean, I realized I was kind of laughing about it, but also being serious and talking to Jim earlier. I mean, I realized how much my life revolves around sports and sporting events and going to them and watching them and being a part of them. I mean, it is just. It affects not just like the events that were taking place yesterday, but everything. I mean, every aspect of, what I do on a daily basis. And I know as an Indiana person, we pride ourselves a lot on being basketball people, but just all sports in general are following suit right now. And it's I don't even know how to process what's going on right now.
Well, Stefan, you wrote a great thought-provoking piece on the spring athletes. I mean, and it makes sense because these guys, their season's taken away before they have a season. So is that, of course, it's not fair, but what's going to be, can anything be done? And you talk about a complex question there. I know that is as well because it's unprecedented.
Yeah, I mean, you hit on it there. No, I don't think anybody knows any answer right now. And what you're referring to there with the spring season, that in terms of if you were a senior going into the spring season, and I'll use baseball for an example, if you're a senior that maybe was on the fringe on getting drafted for an MLB draft, and if you had a good season, you would have been drafted. Now that's taken away from you. Now that's going to affect a lot of things. I mean, that could affect careers for some people, and that raises a conversation. And I've seen, and anyone that sees on my social media that there's a hashtag going around now, Redshirt Corona Year, which is trying to get an extra year of eligibility for some of these athletes that had them stripped away from it this year. Now, that's obviously something that if the NCAA wants to have that conversation, that's a large conversation to have. I mean, you're talking about, a confusing situation. That's probably the most confusing of all this, because if you do get that extra year, then, what do you do with the freshmen that are coming in? I mean, you can't just have a roster of 1 million people. Do you redshirt those freshmen that are coming in to give an extra year to those seniors that might have lost that this year? It's such a complex situation. We keep hitting on that there, but the last I saw, I checked right before I came in on the show today, that the post that I had reposted about athletes trying to get that redshirt corona year, trying to spread awareness for that, which, some IU athletes have reposted. I've seen that, so there's certainly some support. It had 125,000 likes, and that's the only post on that page. So this is probably going to start getting some circulation real soon, and I think it's definitely a conversation that the NCAA is going to have.
Without a doubt. I mean, they will. You've got athletes that have poured their life into things, and some are going to go on potentially to be professionals, like you mentioned, and some aren't. And so there's going to be the argument, well, they weren't going to go pro, so yada yada. But it's going to be an argument either way. And but I don't know that there's ever going to be. Well, I mean, they may come up with a decision, but there's no way that I think that an answer can come up that's going to be fair to everybody.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing, and that, I mean, there's people that get paid a lot more than me and you, Jim, that are probably going to come up with these decisions. But yeah, I mean, like you hit on it, in this situation right now, speaking of today, I don't know what the right answer is to that, and I don't think anybody knows. And I'm sure, as this goes away a little bit, maybe the conversation will become easier. That's one thing that I'm really trying to wonder is, this is so prominent right now, and everybody's talking about it right now. If they let this go, I mean, they cancel all the spring sports, so they have a long time to talk about this. When June comes around or July comes around, and that's what I'm wondering is this situation going to dwindle down a little bit to the point where people aren't asking those questions anymore? And I'm sure maybe people like me and you're going to be answering, but I'm just talking more about the general public that maybe doesn't pay attention to it as much. When this goes away in a month or two, that's where I'm worried that maybe people stop talking about it as much, and that's where I'm worried maybe these athletes won't get that extra year. But I mean, as long as there's one or two people that ask that question, it's a question that's going to still circle around. So for these people high up in the NCAA, I mean, if I were them, I would anticipate this being at least something that needs to be talked about for months to come, I guess.
Yeah, and it's not like they don't have enough that they're already dealing with. Then you got teams like then there's here's something else that came out. Was it not Memphis, but maybe it was Memphis. Anyway, someone was sitting out the Georgia Tech, sitting out the post game season this year. I think does that still count?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, and it was Duke too that came out that said that they weren't going to take part in the NCAA tournament before they had even announced that the NCAA tournament was going to be, canceled.
Yeah, Duke and Kansas both had said they're shutting it down. They were done, so that pretty much shut the tournament down right before Mark Emmert was able to do that. But then you got like I think it's Georgia Tech with Pastner, who were supposedly sitting out this season because of a self-imposed postseason ban for infractions, but now I don't know that should count because everybody has to sit out.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I guess you probably have to, whatever ban you give someone, does it extend the next year then because you cancel this season? And I think what's even weirder now is, we're talking about some spring sports that had just now started. Talking about baseball, softball, they're only a month in, if that. But when you look at, I mean, I think where it really gets complex is when you start looking at basketball, or from the women's side, the men's side, because you're talking about an entire season that was kind of played except for tournament play. So is that worth, giving that extra year of eligibility, or is that worth, like you said, like if there's, a school that has a ban, they went through a full regular season of respecting the ban that they had received. So does that still go away at the end of it? I mean, there's just so many layers to all this that still needs to be unpacked. If you're working for the NCAA right now, you're getting your money's worth. That's for sure.
I guarantee it, man. What else is going on with you, man? What you got coming out next?
Well, I'm not really sure. I know for me, I'm leaving Bloomington. I'm going back home. My family wants me to come home, and I've talked to the people I work with Indy Star, and that's just best right now is kind of leaving Bloomington. For those people that don't know, if I wouldn't blame you. There's so much going on if you're not on top of everything. But Indiana University is doing, our spring break is coming up this following week, and after that, we're doing at least 2 weeks of just online classes, which has been a tough transition for everyone. But I'm kind of anticipating that. They say there's going to be at least 2 weeks. I'm kind of anticipating the rest of the school year moving online. I'd be surprised if we come back for in-person classes the rest of the school year. So yeah, I'm going to be going home, and I'll be working remotely away from Bloomington a little bit. I live in Northwest Indiana, but I'll still be on top of stuff, and hopefully there's something around sports that's going to be worth covering, because I know a lot of people's jobs revolve around that. I know a lot of people are really, sports is their lives and sports is their careers. So, I'm hoping that as all this news all this Corona survivor stuff maybe starts dying down a little bit, and, enough about sports. Hopefully this pandemic, dies down a little bit. And after that, I hope that things can just return to normal like they've always been.
Yeah, that's me too. Just the fact that you said that you don't even think school will come back. I didn't even think about that. I knew about it was shutting down, but I didn't even think about it being done for even everything being done for the year. Now you're talking about entire cities. You talk about a college town like Bloomington. If half the students leave, the city depends on that. So now the effects of this thing is just, it continues to reach on and on, the domino effect. Where does it end?
Yeah, that's where you hit on it. I think a lot of people talked about that when these conference tournaments were being canceled, and when the NCAA was talking about a lot of their, not having, when they initially had planned on just not having fans there. You talked about these host cities and the effects they would have on cities like Indianapolis that were going to host the regional site. And yeah, Bloomington, they're going to be going through that at this point. Like you said, if 75% of the student body is gone, and that's just me throwing out a number there, but 75% of the student body is gone. That's a lot. That's a big economic impact on Bloomington. That's, not looking at sports or anything like that. That's a huge impact. And I was out a little bit on Kirkwood last night, and I know a lot of the students that are left that they were still, going out to Kilroy's and stuff like that. But man, if you're thinking about Kilroy's, upstairs, Nick's, a lot of those students are gone. What are these businesses going to do? It's easy for a company like Walmart, Target, they'll probably be fine. But when you look at these smaller businesses in local cities and college towns like Bloomington, this is going to have a huge impact on a lot of employees, a lot of business owners, and stuff like that moving forward.
Absolutely, man. Stephen, I can't thank you enough for joining us. Wish you safe travels. I probably won't even I guess I won't see you now for who knows when. So,
they took away your time with me. That's what's most unfair here, Jim.
I appreciate you saying that. That's sweet of you, man. Well, good luck, brother. And I'm sure we'll be chatting along the way, but appreciate you joining us and taking the time with me today.
Yeah. Thanks for having me on, guys.
You betcha. Stephen Kreisnick, Indy Star, and voice of the younger generation. I just did not realize that the effects, even things you think of, continue to go on. That you think how deep this thing is going, and then it continues to get deeper and deeper. We got lots more coming up here on Indiana Sports Beat with Coy O'Leary. Todd Sturgeon, the coach of the Highlanders, is going to join us, and Anthony Leal from Bloomington South as the IHSA, as of now, moving forward with the tournament tomorrow. We're back with that and more after this. Hello, everybody. Jim Coyle from Indiana Sports Beat. When I'm not covering the Hoosiers, you can find me at Bubba's 33 in Clarksville, located on the northeast corner of I-65 at Veterans Parkway. Bubba's 33 has hand-tossed pizzas, bold burgers, and ice-cold beer from a select list of local craft brewers. An incredible food selection, all made fresh daily. Whether you're meeting the team for that post-win meal in the family dining area or meeting friends for happy hour to watch the game on one of Bubba's 50 TVs. Bubba's 33 in Clarksville. Pizza, burgers, beer.
We all want a winning smile for those championship photos, and that's exactly what you will get at Reynolds Family Dentistry in Sellersburg. Reynolds Family Dentistry has been serving the dental needs of Hoosier families for over 30 years. Let Doctors Roger and Jay Reynolds take care of your family. Just off of I-65 at 809 South Indiana Avenue in Sellersburg. Call 812-246-3368. That's Reynolds Family Dentistry, 812-246-3368.
I'm Rain Shaddy, and I'm a Hoosier. As a toddler, you could always find me running around in a cream and crimson onesie and a red IU hat reminiscent of those worn during the world-famous William Tell timeout, shouting, "Go Hoosiers!" Like many other alum, I chose to make Bloomington my home. As a civic and alumni leader, I have become very knowledgeable about our community and would love to share my insights with you as your realtor. Find me on Facebook or call or text me, Ryan Shaddy, with FC Tucker Bloomington Realtors at 765-623-9093.
Now that warm weather has arrived, it's time to hit the links, and there's no better place than the golf club at Eagle Point in Bloomington. Voted best golf course by the readers of the Bloomington Herald-Times, the golf club at Eagle Point is under new ownership, has new fairways and bunkers, and it's open to the public. When the round's over, there's cold beer and a full menu at the Eagle Point Pub and Bistro. Call 812-824-1100 to make a tee time. That's 812-824-1100. The golf club at Eagle Point in Bloomington.
This is AJ Moye.
This is Dan Dockett.
Hey, this is Michael Lewis, former Indiana basketball player.
This is Indiana football coach Tom Allen.
This is Jim Coyle with the Indiana Sports Beat. You can always like and follow us on Facebook. Always follow the show rebroadcast on iTunes, Google Play, iHeartRadio, Spotify. TheDailyHoosier.com is a great place to sign up for each and every day. Or, of course, on 97.7 The Ref in Evansville.
Some of the best sounds you'll ever hear are generic. Safe. Effective. Even money-saving, just like FDA-approved generic drugs. Even if they don't come in the exact same color or shape as their brand name equivalents, they have the same key ingredients and go through a rigorous review process. Talk to your doctor or pharmacist today and visit fda.gov/generic drugs. Generics are safe, effective, and can save you money. You'll like the sound of that.
Hey, it's Michael Lewis, former Indiana University player and current UCLA assistant basketball coach, and you're listening to Indiana Sports Beat.
Welcome back to Indiana Sports Beat with Coyle Lyric coming to you from the Golf Club at Eagle Point Studios here on this Friday. And, man, we're going to try to bring a ray of light into some of the stuff we've been talking about. Joined now by Anthony Leal from Bloomington South High School, of course, Indiana IU commitment. Anthony, how are you doing, man?
I'm doing great. How are you?
We're just all just living in this crazy world right now, and I wonder. I've talked to so many people, but the one I guess group that I haven't spoken to is the young people in your age, athletes, or just your age period, man. How are you seeing this? It's got to be surreal right now.
Yeah, it's just confusion. It's hard, especially with all the social media, to just figure out what's accurate and what's not. But it's just something that you can't really even dream of. It's just weird. You don't know how to react.
Well, and the funny thing is, that's the young version. That's the same as the old version because it's the same for us. It's like we're in the same boat. It's a weird deal, but we see all these sporting events that are getting canceled or making shortened or whatever. Luckily, right now the IHSAA boys basketball tournament is scheduled to go on. We hope that continues. It's going to be with limited personnel only, essential personnel, of course, family, immediate family. The people they need and media and whatnot. But first of all, that's going to be kind of weird playing in that environment, but not really when I start to think about it, when you think about AAU ball and such.
Yeah. It's on another level, obviously, just because of regional atmosphere, even though the atmosphere is not really there. But, I mean, at the end of the day, we're still just playing for another step towards the ultimate goal, so it doesn't really matter who's there, who's not. To my team and I, we're just excited that we're still allowed to play because a lot of people are, obviously, as we've seen, told short. So we're just lucky to be able to be playing right now.
Once you get out on the floor, is it, you think, like 5 minutes you guys are probably through the novelty of the people not being there? Because it probably is. You're probably able to snap back into AAU type ball.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I think once the game gets in the flow, like obviously we're all just going to be focused on the game, but it's definitely going to be weird, especially in like warm ups and like starting lineups if they even do that. I'm not really sure, but it's going to be weird until we start playing. And then once we'll be kind of distracted during the game, I guess.
Now, you say them, you're playing Floyd Central. Now, let's give them a little respect. I'm just kidding. I'm a Highlander, man, so I'm just giving you a little grief. You guys got a great win on the road earlier in the season over them down there at Floyd, and, man, that stopped a big, long winning streak at home for them. Big win for you guys. You've done that to a lot of people on the way to an unblemished record, but they're going to, of course, be looking to avenge that defeat.
Of course. I mean, we know that we're better than we were at the point whenever we played them earlier in the season, but we also know they're going to be better. So, hopefully we can just come in and play our style and hopefully get a win. But they're definitely a really good team, and especially playing down there early in the season, that was a really tough place to play. So we were able to get out of there with a win, but hopefully we'll be able to do that again at Seymour.
And I know your longtime coach, man. I know you guys want to add another state championship to his ledger. I'm sure there would be nothing happier that you could do for him.
Yeah, of course. I mean, in his 50th year coaching, I think that'd be really special, especially for my group of seniors, just to be able to go out on top and to do that in our last year. So that's obviously the ultimate goal. As long as we're allowed to keep playing for it, that's what we're going to go for.
And you guys have had a great group of the 4 years you've been there. And now that you're the senior, but next year that role reverses back to being freshman. How do you adjust to going from being the guy to not being the guy?
Yeah, I mean, just keep working hard, get back in the gym, and stay consistent with what's got me this far. And that's just, having a good work ethic and always trying to get better and do whatever the team needs. So I think that, if I'm just able to come in and keep my same principles as far as working hard and all that kind of stuff, then I'll be able to find my place just fine at IU. So that's the plan.
Now, I thought if things go well on Saturday morning for you and for Christian Lander, you guys can meet both former teammates as well in the AAU circuit, but future teammates as well. That would be kind of cool, I'm sure. Are you looking forward to potentially maybe having that matchup?
Of course, that would be something that's really special for both of us. But, I mean, obviously we both have business to take care of before we can get to that point. So I know I'm personally just focused on the first game, and I'm sure he is too. But obviously, if we're both able to win that, then that'd be a really fun thing to be able to do that with him, even though, sadly there won't be able to be many fans there. So.
Your parents have raised a pro. You're already a pro. Like, you sound like a coach, man. You're a veteran. You're already a veteran at doing these interviews. That was the answer that only a veteran gives, and a very good one at that. The high school, your career coming to a close. That part of it, I know you got a lot to look forward to, but high school basketball, especially in Indiana, there's nothing more special. And even though it's not coming the way we'd all like for it to, it's still a special thing. And to see that come to a close, what's that mean to you?
It's when the time comes, I don't think I'm going to be ready for it for sure. I mean, I'm trying to make it last as long as I can right now, obviously, and just trying to appreciate every moment. But when it actually comes, it's definitely going to be really sad for whenever that last time is that I get to play with Bloomington across my chest. And then obviously I'll get to go play at IU, but just being at South has been such a blessing for me. And I know that whenever that time comes to a close, it's going to be really tough for me to kind of come to reality with that and to realize that it's truly over. So hopefully we can make it last as long as we can.
And then you look at the Indiana, of course, a team that sadly would have been in the NCAA tournament this year, but unfortunately no one is going to be able to do that. But they're going to lose a couple of guys, and then along you're going to be one of those guys able to step in. Watching them play throughout the year, how do you think you can add to what they currently do?
Yep, just coming in, bringing a really competitive mindset and just a really passionate guy out there on the court and just trying to do whatever I can to help the team. But obviously I'm known for my shooting, so hopefully I'll be able to come in, space the floor a little bit and play some defense and just play as hard as I can whenever I get the chance. And hopefully, good things will come from that, not necessarily personally, but hopefully the team can have a lot of success. So that's the plan, is just to come in and try to space the floor with my jump shot and play some defense and just play as hard as I can every second. So.
Well, man, it's been an incredible high school career for you. All of us that do have coverage have enjoyed it and look forward to it. Look forward to covering you again at IU, though. So there's that to look forward to. I wish you the best of luck on Saturday. Even though I'm a Highlander, I'm going to wish you the best of luck to go into that game, because that should be a great game. That's the one thing I admire about both those programs. Coach Todd Sturgeon's done an amazing job, and of course, Coach Holmes. They're just an amazing program through the years at Bloomington South, and these are two of the great programs, and I'm just looking forward to this game.
Me too. It should be a lot of fun.
Anthony, I appreciate you, man. I thank you very much. Thank your parents. I hope you guys have a great weekend. Good luck, and we'll see you soon.
Yeah, thank you for taking the time.
Anthony Leal, Bloomington South senior, Indiana commitment. Todd, I hope that we get to see these games on Saturday. He talked about when the end comes, how hard it's going to be for him, and it will be for all of these kids. And so you just hope that comes by a natural means through a defeat, which is not pleasant either, but at least it's natural, and you feel like you were given a shake. So hopefully they get to do that.
Yeah, I mean, it is that kind of puts it, when you hear it from a kid's and a student athlete's mouth. I mean, it puts it a little bit more in reality of what it would be like. I mean, you can hear in his voice, you can almost hear how much work they put into it and how important this is to him. And I know it's only one day away right now, but so the last 24 hours have been such a whirlwind in the sports world itself. And, it's still not going to surprise any of us if it doesn't get canceled, at some point in time today. And let's hope it doesn't, but you'll know the disappointment that, actually we won't know the level of disappointment that it'll be for those guys that have worked so hard. They win their sectionals and they're on track to achieve a lifetime goal that they will never have the opportunity to take advantage of again, being this fact that they're seniors. And, it's just one additional layer of pure disappointment in this entire scenario that's going on.
Yeah, and plus I want to see some good basketball. And I know that's being stingy and silly. And of course,
is it on TV?
It would be streamed. Yeah, I mean,
would it?
Luckily, that stuff will be streamed. So, and that's why I'm kind of thinking, I guess it's not about the games, I guess, so much as the travel, and it's everything else that is causing a lot of these cancellations, because it's not just the games per se. It's all the things that go into them, getting there, staying there, all that stuff. So,
yeah.
But man, yeah.
Jake, what's it streamed on?
It can be streamed on IHSA's website. There's actually I found a free Roku app that there's an IHSA Roku app if you have a smart TV or Fire Stick or whatever streaming TV. They have all the games that are going to be on there, and I don't know.
Just like everything else, Jake, I'm going to need you to come over and set that up at my house for me if you could.
And while you're there, he's got a stereo on his video.
Yeah. I got a couple other things I need you to get working too. Got a printer I need you to set up. So thank you. I'll see you in a bit.
Oh man, yeah, it's wow. And I've talked about the economic impact. Well, and there's some. Even though it is ginormous, and we don't even know. I don't think
we're not even close to knowing.
Just scratching the surface of knowing. Nope. But how many businesses are going to succumb to this? I mean, I don't want to be talking about some dire stuff here, but that's the potential, man.
I mean, there's going to be. Right now we've got some changes and things to deal with. And I hope I didn't try to make it that big a deal when I was saying earlier, like can't believe how much my life revolves around watching sports, because there are so much bigger issues for people to deal with. And I get that. And I have that in perspective, believe me, but
it's part of your life. It's what you do.
And
you've always done.
And that's just the narcissistic side of me looking at it as how it affects me. I do. Last night, we sat at dinner and talked the entire night about all of the different aspects of people in life, of how this is going to affect that. And we just kept going and going and going and going. Oh my gosh, it's going to affect this, and then it's going to affect that. And we won't even know the economic impact of this, I mean, I'm not trying to make it sound worse than it is. I just can't believe it's what it's going to be. We're not going to know how to deal with it, because there's going to have to be some help for a lot of people somewhere, small business owners and things like that. Otherwise, I don't see a way they can possibly survive.
Yeah, it's yet to be determined, but we're going to be here.
I'm wrong.
We'll be here. We'll be here to try to be a conduit, to try to provide some. We'll still have great interviews and great people on, and so to try to provide somewhat of a fix for that sports fix, and with information and conversation and whatnot, because people need that. I mean, heck, we need that. I need that. You need that. You can't just go cold turkey on everything. Woo.
I know it's great. I mean,
the biggest thing is
like,
we're waiting for this warm weather to get here so people get outside.
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, so personally, I mean, I'm looking at it, I'm like, man, my golf game is going to get pretty darn good here. Not very long.
It's already pretty damn good.
I'm going to be able to practice like crazy, because there's going to be no distractions to take you away from that. But
I've got an email or a text in from Sally in Evansville that said she saw in the news this morning that Kentucky has canceled their state high school tourneys.
Well,
not a surprise. I expect a lot to see that. It doesn't mean that.
I'll be honest with you. The surprise right now is that Indiana hasn't, and I don't want them to. So please don't make it sound like that. I'm just surprised. I'm surprised that the NBA. I'm surprised that the PGA Tour canceled. Like, I would love to hear the explanation for that, because they already didn't have fans coming. It's outside. They don't touch each other. It's not a physical sport. I can't possibly understand. I mean, it was going to be the one thing today that I think golf would have picked up so many TV viewers, because literally it's the only thing on. I can't in my own mind. I'm not smart enough to figure out why they would need to cancel that.
I can give
players were already there.
I can give an opinion that because the majority of the players are people of means, so they're like, yeah, I'm going to skip this one. Because that's going to be shut down. The next tournament's going to be shut down. Obviously, probably it's because travel and all that stuff again. And that was probably the last one we're going to see for a while. At least because, it's not even unless they go to some place where they're not having an issue, which I don't know where that is right now.
Right. But I mean, I guess I'm asking, like, the players were already there. They played the first round yesterday.
Right.
And they'd already.
No, I get it. I'm with you. I'm with you completely. I don't get it either. It's like, well, you're already there. So, and you don't have fans. So there's nothing's going to change. If someone happened to have
I don't think that they're canceling it because of the risk of potentially them contracting, the corona or COVID or whatever. And, I mean, that's just what I was saying. Like, I would like to know what the explanation is. It so they can get home to their families? Is it so they can go take care of whatever they need to take care of? I don't honestly don't know, but I'm just saying, like, it was going to be one sporting event that you can sit there and think to yourself, it's like NASCAR is going to continue. They're just not going to have fans in the stands.
No, that's wild. Well, not really, because it looks like half the races. Just kidding.
Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah.
It looks like a Busch League. I mean, the next tier down race. There's not a lot of fans in those races a lot of times, but they make their money on TV anyway. That's where they're making their money.
And they will probably. I mean, I'll tell you, like, I'll watch it. I'll watch it just to have something to watch, something to do.
NBA Commissioner Adam Silver spoke with TNT on Thursday and confirmed a report from Yahoo Sports, Vincent Goodwill, that telling Inside the NBA that the league won't resume for most likely at least 30 days. Goodwill reported earlier Thursday that the NBA doesn't plan to resume for at least 30 days. Won't start games until at least 14 days past the last positive player testing for COVID-19. So there you go with that.
Yeah, but I mean, okay, so I heard.
But they also said they plan to return.
Yeah, I mean, that's a good thing. I am surprised. I'm not surprised they canceled the Big Ten tournament and the conference tournaments. I'm surprised they didn't use the word postpone for the NCAA tournament. Just from the standpoint of it would have left it open. They still could have canceled it, next week or whatever it is. But I'm just surprised they didn't leave that opportunity open to just say, hey, we could. It's unprecedented as what's happened right now. So it would also be unprecedented to postpone it for a month and have it in late April or May even. But it's unprecedented to cancel it too. So I guess we just don't know. We don't know what we don't know.
As Commissioner Silver said, even if we're out for a month, even if we're out for 6 weeks, we can still restart the season. He told TNT. It might mean that the finals take place in July, late July. It was way premature to suggest that we had lost the season. That's good to hear.
It is.
At least that they're maintaining at least a public persona of hope, which gives us hope. It gives us something, because people need hope for something. It doesn't even matter. I don't care if it's for a bowling league right now. You need hope of something because a lot of these cancellations are on the heels of other cancellations. But we got lots to talk about here. Joining us in the next hour, Todd Sturgeon, head coach of Floyd Central Highlanders, as they take on Bloomington South at the Seymour Regional as of now on Saturday. Look forward to talking to him. Back with more from Coyle and Leary at the Eagle Golf Club Eagle Point Studios right after this. Hello, everybody. Jim Coyle from Indiana Sports Beat. When I'm not covering the Hoosiers, you can find me at Bubba's 33 in Clarksville, located on the northeast corner of I-65 at Veterans Parkway. Bubba's 33 has hand-tossed pizzas, bold burgers, and ice-cold beer from a select list of local craft brewers. An incredible food selection, all made fresh daily. Whether you're meeting the team for that post-win meal in the family dining area or meeting friends for happy hour to watch the game on one of Bubba's 50 TVs. Bubba's 33 in Clarksville. Pizza, burgers, beer.
We all want a winning smile for those championship photos, and that's exactly what you will get at Reynolds Family Dentistry in Sellersburg. Reynolds Family Dentistry has been serving the dental needs of Hoosier families for over 30 years. Let Doctors Roger and Jay Reynolds take care of your family. Just off of I-65 at 809 South Indiana Avenue in Sellersburg. Call 812-246-3368. That's Reynolds Family Dentistry, 812-246-3368.
I'm Rain Shaddy, and I'm a Hoosier. As a toddler, you could always find me running around in a cream and crimson onesie and a red IU hat reminiscent of those worn during the world-famous William Tell timeout, shouting, "Go Hoosiers!" Like many other alum, I chose to make Bloomington my home. As a civic and alumni leader, I have become very knowledgeable about our community and would love to share my insights with you as your realtor. Find me on Facebook or call or text me, Ryan Shaddy, with FC Tucker Bloomington Realtors at 765-623-9093.
Now that warm weather has arrived, it's time to hit the links, and there's no better place than the Golf Club at Eagle Point in Bloomington. Voted best golf course by the readers of the Bloomington Herald-Times, the Golf Club at Eagle Point is under new ownership, has new fairways and bunkers, and it's open to the public. When the round's over, there's cold beer and a full menu at the Eagle Point Pub and Bistro. Call 812-824-1100 to make it tee time. That's 812-824-1100. The Golf Club at Eagle Point in Bloomington.
This is AJ Moye.
This is Dan Dockett.
Hey, this is Michael Lewis, former Indiana basketball player.
This is Indiana football coach Tom Allen.
This is Jim Coyle with the Indiana Sports Beat. You can always like and follow us on Facebook. Always follow the show rebroadcast on iTunes, Google Play, iHeartRadio, Spotify. TheDailyHoosier.com is a great place to sign up for each and every day. Or, of course, on 97.7 The Ref in Evansville.
Some of the best sounds you'll ever hear are generic, safe, effective, even money-saving, just like FDA-approved generic drugs. Even if they don't come in the exact same color or shape as their brand name equivalents, they have the same key ingredients and go through a rigorous review process. Talk to your doctor or pharmacist today and visit fda.gov/generic drugs. Generics are safe, effective, and can save you money. You'll like the sound of that.
This is former Indiana basketball player Brian Evans, and you're listening to Indiana Sports Beat with Jim Coyle.
Welcome back to Indiana Sports Beat. Coyle Lee with you on this Friday, quiet Friday, coming to you from the Golf Club Eagle Point Studios. Spoke with Stefan Kreisnick. You heard from Anthony Leal. A little bit you're going to hear from Floyd Central coach Todd Sturgeon, as right now one of the few sporting events still remaining, the IHSA boys basketball tournament scheduled for tomorrow, 4 regionals. Down in Washington, I know Nick Baumgart's going to catch the first game. Washington, Trey Kaufman is down there from Silver Creek. Then over at Seymour, you've got Floyd Central and Bloomington South with Anthony Leal. Evansville Wrights, Christian Lander playing Greenwood. Potential matchup between Anthony Leal and Christian Lander in the nightcap if those teams win. So we've got something to look forward to, Todd. Hopefully, and your son, of course, playing tomorrow night up north. I thought I lost sound, but it's Todd. I just lost his mic, right? Okay, he's on mute. He's got us muted. He doesn't realize. There you go. That's all right. I was like, I thought it was me. I'm like, I lost sound, and then until Jake said something, I'm like, nope, have not.
Yep. No, I mean, as of right now, they're scheduled to play. I mean, I don't think any of us are going to be shocked if that changes, but I certainly hope it sticks with the way it is.
Yeah, and so game-wise, man, there's some great games all over the state. I know you're more familiar with what's going on up there, although that Carmel playing a team that we're not that familiar with, New Haven. I know that they've been doing pretty well. I see their name quite a bit. I am going to be honest with you, I'm not up to date on them. They're too far north for me. But then you've got Silver Creek down at Washington Seymour with Trey Kaufman and Christian Lander and Anthony Leal. A lot of people out. Trey Galloway, forget about it, he's still in action as well. So these guys are still in action.
Yeah, I mean, it's the tournament is, would be crazy and exciting and fun. And it's just there's so many unanswered questions. And I think, fans are not allowed to go and watch it. And, if anything, be expecting the IHSAA website to go down tomorrow, because if that's the only thing that's on TV, it might be out of control how many people watch those games.
I'm almost surprised, and someone mentioned, I think it was Tim who sent a text in, surprised that ESPN or someone hasn't picked up those games.
I completely agree with you. I'm surprised. I wouldn't doubt if it's not crossing their mind. They're trying to figure out how to get trucks here. I mean, it would not shock me a bit.
Jennifer down in Evansville says, do you know a good therapist that will be able to get us through all the sports drought? My half marathon and even my niece's soccer has been canceled. It is crazy. Yeah, we're all going to need that, Jennifer. You're not lying. Tim says, let's talk recruits. We're going to be doing that, not today, but we're going to be doing a lot of that. He said he saw where 2021 big man 6'11" Gabe Wisner could be classified the 2020 class. Yeah, and I think he was going to visit Providence, I think I saw too. But, we'll be talking a lot of recruiting. Don't worry. But that's another thing, Todd, these summer recruiting events where kids get seen and evaluated.
As of right now, they're all on hold. I was looking yesterday at the the shoe tours, the Nike and Under Armour and Adidas tours, and as of right now, they don't know what the future is going to be for those. But there's some of those that start up, a month from now in April. There's a big tournament in late April, and then there's a bunch of tournaments in May. So. Yeah, I mean, that stuff.
But now you talk about the kids that okay, obviously the 5 stars, everybody knows who they are. They don't need it. But it's those other guys that still need to be seen, that still need to be evaluated, that still need to make a name for themselves, that need to have good summers. I mean, these are college careers on the line for a lot of these kids, and this is all going to have an effect on that.
Yep, it is. I mean, there's the ripple effect is immeasurable right now. And, we'll just have to, that this is the part of being a leader and being an American and being on the forefront of things. I mean, you've got to understand that we're getting thrown a curveball and we're going to figure out a way to deal with it and get through it and get through it as best we can. And we have to help ourselves out and help each other out and other people. And, this is why I've been a little bit disappointed in some of the knee-jerk reactions by saying, and they're either not giving us the information or there's some knee-jerk reactions, because there's been there are some opportunities for solutions that I think if we had a few more days to process it, and we may end up at the exact same spot. Like I'll use as an example, I'll use the NCAA tournament in canceling the event. Like, maybe we might know more information 3 or 4 days from now than we do today. And I understand we may need to postpone that for a week or 2 weeks or a month or 2 months. But I'm just surprised at some of the, I think true leaders, if leaders would do nothing else, they would at least, if they're going to, they would explain their decisions and they would give us the information needed to make us understand that. And that's the part of it I'm a little bit frustrated with. I feel like they're just saying, hey, it's canceled, deal with it. And I need more information than that.
Yeah, there's just so much. The one good thing is I don't know that there's a lot of misinformation, as bad as it could be. But I think that the seriousness of it is what it took people a minute to grasp. And it's not, again, and not because of if you catch it yourself, depending on if you're a middle or just a normal age person, you'll be fine. But it's the fear of it growing so fast, so big that it would overwhelm the health systems and all that.
Yeah, I mean, I watched all the shows yesterday. I listened to the doctors, and I was intently trying to learn as much as I could.
And we're experts now because both of us have been doing that. So we're both complete experts on it.
But you just look at it all, and you're like, there's still so many questions. There's still so many, so many unanswered scenarios. And that's why I just didn't, generally you don't make a decision until you've got all the facts and you know everything. And right now, I definitely don't feel like I know a lot of the facts. And I think there was a lot of decisions that were made that I don't completely understand. And the people who made those decisions could answer that by giving us the facts, but they don't. And I don't think you can sit back and say, hey, well, they know more than we do, and so they get to make these decisions. No, that's not the case. This is unprecedented. This is affecting, everyone's life in the country right now. So no, we do deserve the information and to know it.
And that's the one thing that you just said that could not be any more correct, is that it is affecting everyone. There is not a single person alive that this is not affecting.
Yep.
And I mean, from the president down to wherever you want to go, there is not a person that it doesn't affect. So the good thing is, hopefully the golf courses stay open. Like you said, your golf game will get better, and maybe it'll be a boon. Maybe there'll be positives. Maybe somehow, some way, there's some positives that come out of it to negate some of these negatives. We can only hope that that's the case.
Yeah, I mean, look at it from this perspective. It's that's the wrong word to use because I'm going to use it here again in a second. And if you sit back and take it into perspective, like I did a lot of life thinking yesterday about, how much my life revolves around sports and watching sports and all that stuff. And it's just, if nothing else, it gives you a little perspective to kind of sit back and say, all right, well, maybe I could cut out a little bit of time in this and spend it, with family, or spend it helping out, volunteering somewhere, or doing something different. I mean, maybe there are some positives, or I'm sure there'll be some positives. We're humans and Americans. I mean, we'll figure out a way to make it a positive. But man, right now it just there was just so many things. It was like I was trying to figure out an analogy without using an actual death. But I mean, so it was like getting fired from your job and then coming home and found out you got evicted from your house. And then finding out your car got repossessed, like all in the same day. Like all of those things, like it's just one blow after another. We just kept getting hit with stuff yesterday, time after time, and it never seemed like it was going to end. And it was just a day that I don't think a lot of us, especially that revolve around the sports world, will forget. But man, it was one blow after another yesterday.
Yeah, it was weird. We've got an interview we can also play that I spoke with Rick Pizzo from the BTN that we'll get to Forgot about that, but I meant to get that on as well. Rick Pizzo, a Big Ten analyst. We were both arriving at the building at the Bankers Life Fieldhouse at the same time. And he was up in front of me. And by the time he got to the media entrance, I think he went in the door, but quickly just turned around and came back. And so I never even made it to the door before the first game yesterday.
Right.
But I had the opportunity to talk to him. I'm not sure. Do we have time to run that now? I think it's only 3 minutes long. So Jake, just as soon as you get to that, we'll play that before we get to Todd Sturgeon. But it was great to get his input on that, because that's someone who, his job's affected and what he does, but it goes beyond jobs, but to get his perspective on that, it was good to hear. You got that yet, Jake? He's still loaded up. All right. But Rick, what's Rick Pizzo's background? Where did he play?
You talking to me?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I think he came out in local news, which was a great perspective to hear from his, because he was covering events like this, but there's no event like this, obviously, that we've ever experienced before. But here's a conversation I had with Rick Pizzo yesterday outside of Bankers Life Fieldhouse. Joined now by BTN analyst Rick Pizzo. Rick, I can't even begin to ask you how crazy this is, because it's just beyond anything that anyone's ever experienced.
It is, though I will say, after the news started to spiral this week, and even last week when there was starting to be some conversation of the NCAA suggesting they may move on with hosting the tournament but without fans, I thought that was going to be step one. Wasn't surprised to see that happen on Thursday night. And I was a little surprised when I woke up on Friday that no decision had been made. I think the Big Ten wanted to make sure they dotted all the I's, crossed the T's, and just a few minutes before tip-off, canceled for the weekend. Truthfully, I think it's probably the right call.
And I know anything other than this is going to be speculation, but the NCAA next is going to come out with what they're going to do. But there's so many other things. The IHSA, the Indiana High School Tournament, their biggest weekend is coming up this weekend. It's just an unbelievable change for American society like we haven't seen since possibly 9/11.
Yeah, I think obviously to a much lesser extent, as it affects sports more than it does culture and life in general. But I would not be surprised to see every major sports organization, whether they are the NBA, the NHL, obviously the NBA making their decision on Thursday night. I think the NHL is not far behind it if they haven't made it while we're doing these interviews. I think the states will do so as well. We saw on Thursday, Michigan, Ohio canceling their spring games. Right now, there's just not a huge reason to risk it. And I think with the NCAA, now you're in a situation that you don't have the automatic bids to give out anyway in your conference tournament. So it's certainly the next domino to fall. It makes a lot of sense.
And do we even begin to talk about the economic impact that this is going to have across the country for people that work jobs? We saw Mark Cuban trying to first think of the people that he has to take care of, but this goes so far beyond it. I don't know if it's even imaginable.
It does. It goes way beyond sports. Your favorite team can't play in the Big Ten tournament. Yes, that hurts you. Yes, there's a lot of passion there, but in general, I give a lot of credit to Mark Cuban for the comments that he made last night and thinking right away about how this impacts all the arena workers, all the security workers. And it's going to go beyond that. It's going to affect travel. It's going to affect commerce. It's going to affect retail. It's going to affect the entire country. So unfortunately, this is probably step one in sports, as it has usually been for our country as a microcosm of the entire nation.
And I know it doesn't affect people, like I said, in the media, but for what you have to do as far as normally covering sports, now you're covering something that none of us are maybe prepared for or even ready to talk about.
Yeah, it becomes a completely different conversation. I mean, I remember working in local news early in my career, and when a hurricane would arrive down in the Carolinas, no one worried about sports, no one worried about anything except the weather. I was in local television when 9/11 happened, and the exact same thing. Who cared about sports at that point? All we were focused on was the events at hand and making sure that people got what they needed, got as healthy as they could possibly be, and I think we're likely headed in that same direction right now.
Rick, I can't thank you enough for taking the time to talk with me today.
My pleasure.
Rick Pizzo from BTN. Thank you, sir. And there you go. There's Rick Pizzo from the BTN studio analyst that was turned away, as was the rest of us, at the Bankers Life Fieldhouse yesterday as we were preparing to go in to watch Michigan play Rutgers. And what we thought was going to be a unique environment anyway, Todd. I was looking forward to seeing that in that situation. But, yeah, that didn't even happen at all.
Yeah, no, it was – it was just, like I said, it was one blow after another yesterday. And I know we had the show yesterday morning and tried to figure out how we were going to process not having fans in there. And then Literally, I saw you outside. We were walking in the door, and
while you're trying to figure out how you're going to process something,
by the time I got parked and got to the door, it changed again. Yeah, so it was nuts.
Dude, the Masters has been postponed already.
No way.
Just seeing that come across right now. The Masters has been postponed. I'm trying to get to the 2020 Masters has been postponed over concerns of the coronavirus. Augusta National Golf Club announced Friday morning. This announcement comes in the wake of the PGA Tour counseling. Whoops, didn't mean for that to start playing, but get out of that. But anyway, yeah, there's that. But let's take a break. We got plenty more to talk about when we come back. But Todd Sturgeon, Floyd Central head coach, going to join us when we come back. Hello, everybody. Jim Coyle from Indiana Sports Beat. When I'm not covering the Hoosiers, you can find me at Bubba's 33 in Clarksville, located on the northeast corner of I-65 at Veterans Parkway. Bubba's 33 has hand-tossed pizzas, bold burgers, and ice-cold beer from a select list of local craft brewers. An incredible food selection, all made fresh daily. Whether you're meeting the team for that post-win meal in the family dining area or meeting friends for happy hour to watch the game on one of Bubba's 50 TVs. Bubba's 33 in Clarksville. Pizza, burgers, beer.
We all want a winning smile for those championship photos, and that's exactly what you will get at Reynolds Family Dentistry in Sellersburg. Reynolds Family Dentistry has been serving the dental needs of Hoosier families for over 30 years. Let Doctors Roger and Jay Reynolds take care of your family. Just off of I-65 at 809 South Indiana Avenue in Sellersburg. Call 812-246-3368. That's Reynolds Family Dentistry, 812-246-3368.
I'm Rain Shaddy, and I'm a Hoosier. As a toddler, you could always find me running around in a cream and crimson onesie and a red IU hat reminiscent of those worn during the world-famous William Tell timeout, shouting, "Go Hoosiers!" Like many other alum, I chose to make Bloomington my home. As a civic and alumni leader, I have become very knowledgeable about our community and would love to share my insights with you as your realtor. Find me on Facebook or call or text me, Ryan Shaddy, with FC Tucker Bloomington Realtors at 765-623-9093.
Now that warm weather has arrived, it's time to hit the links, and there's no better place than the Golf Club at Eagle Point in Bloomington. Voted best golf course by the readers of the Bloomington Herald-Times, the Golf Club at Eagle Point is under new ownership, has new fairways and bunkers, and it's open to the public. When the round's over, there's cold beer and a full menu at the Eagle Point Pub and Bistro. Call 812-824-1100 to make a tee time. That's 812-824-1100. The Golf Club at Eagle Point in Bloomington.
This is AJ Moye.
This is Dan Dawkins.
Hey, this is Michael Lewis, former Indiana basketball player.
This is Indiana football coach Tom Allen.
This is Jim Coyle with the Indiana Sports Beat. You can always like and follow us on Facebook. Always follow the show rebroadcast on iTunes, Google Play, iHeartRadio, Spotify. TheDailyHoosier.com is a great place to sign up for each and every day. Or, of course, on 97.7 The Ref in Evansville.
Some of the best sounds you'll ever hear are generic, safe, effective, even money-saving, just like FDA-approved generic drugs. Even if they don't come in the exact same color or shape as their brand name equivalents, they have the same key ingredients and go through a rigorous review process. Talk to your doctor or pharmacist today and visit fda.gov/generic drugs. Generics are safe, effective, and can save you money. You'll like the sound of that.
Hey, this is Jordan Halls, former Indiana Hoosier. Keep up with Indiana sports on Indiana Sports Beat.
Welcome back to Indiana Sports Beat. Coyle area coming to you from the Golf Club at Eagle Point Studios on this Friday. Joined now by Floyd Central head coach Todd Sturgeon. Coach, how are you, man?
Wonderful. How's everything going with you guys?
Good. Todd had to step away, unfortunately. I was hoping he's going to be here with you guys. But, man, first time in 31 years you bring home a sectional title for Floyd Central. First of all, congratulations on getting that accomplished.
Well, thank you. It's been a rewarding year. This a group of guys. We, after losing 9 seniors off last year's team and really only having one guy that was in our regular rotation returning, of course, he was a pretty good one in Jake Hyde Breeder. A good place to build a team around. these guys have really worked hard.
I think we lost him. Did we lose him? Have to see about getting him back there. That just went dead. That sounded weird. That's not like normal. Doesn't even sound like a normal lost phone call. You still there, Coach? I think we still got him. Nope, it doesn't. We're going to get him back on here, talking to Coach Todd Sturgeon from Floyd Central. Dropped a call there, I guess. Floyd Central scheduled to take on Bloomington South in the first game of the Seymour Regional, which will be played with essential people only, family, immediate family, media, whatnot. So there's not going to be a lot of people in that 8,000-seat gym of Seymour's, unfortunately. But there's also 3 other regionals going on around the state. Todd's son Will's playing for Carmel up north in Logansport. You've got Trey Galloway's playing as well. He may be up there. I'm not sure. But then you've got Trey Kaufman from Silver Creek. They're down in Washington. And then, of course, over at Seymour, you've got Christian Lander from Evansville Rights. And, I think his phone must have died, unfortunately. That's really sucks. I was looking forward to having him on today, man. And it started out to be a great one. What's that? Yeah, hopefully he does. But, that really sucks because Todd had to step out at the same time, unfortunately. But, the games that are still scheduled to go on in Seymour, first one, Floyd Central, Bloomington South, maybe the best game scheduled in the tournament at that particular moment. Those 2 teams battled earlier in the season, as you heard when Anthony Leal was on earlier. They got out of Floyd Central with a last-second win when Anthony Leal lays a shot in at the buzzer. He said he's ready if you can call him back. So we're going to get him back on. All right, now, so I know you'd like to rather hear him than me talk about it. But, Bloomington got out of there, ended a big, I forget how many games it was, but it was a long home win streak that it ended for the Highlanders. And Bloomington South undefeated. They came down to Silver Creek. They got a win down there this season. So, man, they have gotten – not only are they undefeated, but they've gotten some wins in some tough places to get those wins. What's that going to be like on Saturday? We'll find out. Back with us now, Coach Todd Sturgeon from Floyd Central. Sorry about that, Coach.
Well, the challenges of modern technology, right?
I'm telling you, man. But I was just talking about you guys open up. You probably have the marquee game if this tournament goes forward of the tournament right now with Bloomington South, a game that you guys already had a great battle this year that obviously didn't go the way we'd like to say. Well, I've already admitted to everybody I'm a Highlander, so I'm showing my bias because I don't cover high school that much, so I can go ahead and do that. But a great game between you two. You're 2 of the best teams in the state.
Well, it was a fantastic game back in December, right before Christmas. It was a game that had the intensity of a postseason game, and they're just a terrific team. They've got 3 Division I players, including the potential Mr. Basketball in Anthony Leal, and the all-time winningest coach in the history of Indiana basketball. It's a formidable opponent, to say the least, and had a great game with them the first time, and we're trying to figure out a way to stay in there with them again.
Yeah, you guys do a great job defensively. If people remember over the years, when Romeo was still playing, you guys held him to less than 20 points twice in the same season. So you guys do such a remarkable job in that way. And it's been the thing that has really brought that program back, because I'll be honest with you, for the longest time, they were just dead in the water until you got back there. And it's great to see that entire area being like it used to be. Floyd Central, New Albany, Jeffersonville, Silver Creek, Corydon, all these North Harrison, all those teams having good seasons. And it just makes it fun for everybody.
Boy, it's been kind of a golden era the last 3 or 4 years down here. Obviously, Romeo accelerates that even more. But a couple of years ago at the Seymour Sectional, we had 3 of the top 6 teams in the state. You've mentioned Silver Creek has just had some phenomenal teams. They have one of the 5 best teams in the state, regardless of classes. And so it's been a lot of fun down here in Southern Indiana across class lines, and again this year with Christian Academy, and of course we're connected with Providence, with Ryan's connection to our coaching staff the last 5 years. And funny story for you, there was a youth tournament here at our place on Sunday, and Ryan still has a key here, and he got into our locker room and left a message on the board for our players. So when they came in Monday, they still had a note from Coach Miller on the board there. And so we've remained connected. So it's been a lot of fun watching all the teams. We pull for all the teams in the area. We all play each other. I got messages from, a bunch of these guys in the days following our win on Saturday. And so it's just a great time for Southern Indiana sports.
So Saturday, the first game is against Bloomington South, obviously a formidable opponent, as you've already mentioned. If you're able to get past that, you get the job of playing Evansville Reitz again, I think, and Christian Lander. He's really been playing well of late. If you got to that point, talk a little bit about how they've been playing. I know you don't want to look ahead, but just talk about them in general.
Well, and Greenwood might have something to say about that as well.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
But we have played Reitz back early in the season. That was not one of our best games. That one in particular, the Bloomington South game, we can live with to a certain degree. We played well for all of that game except 5.9 seconds. And when they hit a last-second shot on us. The Reitz game, we did not play well. Of course, you got to give them credit. They had a game plan and executed that. And so that we would love to have an opportunity to avenge that loss. As you mentioned, the Lander kid is a 5-star recruit who has committed to Indiana. And they would be a tremendous challenge for anybody, but one that we would love to get a shot at for obvious reasons.
I know your former player, Kobe Barnes, had a pretty decent freshman season over at Indiana State for the Sycamores in Terre Haute.
Yeah, he got a chance. Kobe was in the regular rotation, played in every game. Their team kind of had a bounce back year. They had a winning season and finished, I believe, third in the Missouri Valley. Anytime you're top three in one of the Big Six conferences, that's a really good year. They had a disappointing first round loss in the conference tournament. I think had things continued, they probably would have gotten into the college basketball invitational, had a chance to get some postseason experience. But as we know, it's a unique year and one that we're dealing with. In fact, here, it's been a lot of uncertainty surrounding the games on Saturday as well.
Yeah, it's just that this whole scenario, the situation. Of course, I was in Indianapolis for the Big Ten tournament, and I was walking in prepared to watch the first game, and didn't even get through the door. And so, yeah, all these changes. And right now, the IHSA is one of the only games in town. I mean, you guys are going to be. I'm surprised. We had a text earlier that we're surprised that ESPN hasn't come in and scooped up the rights to your all's games.
That's right. That's exactly what should happen.
I wouldn't be shocked. I would not be shocked.
So it would be there's nothing that would surprise me at this point. I guess that yesterday was a day like any other for all of us that have been around sports for a lot of years. I never thought I would see the NCAA tournament get canceled, and I certainly didn't think I'd see a time when they're shutting down conference tournaments at halftime of games. Just that wow was the only thing I can say. And at this point, though, we've gotten messages from the IHSA this morning about the protocol for Saturday. So, as of 9:00 this morning, this thing's still on, and we're looking to go ahead and get it done.
Any changes in that regard? Any changes in game preparation when you're there, practice, pregame, things like that? I know there'll be no fans, essential people only, family, media, that sort of thing. But as far as you guys prepare for these games, which is going to be kind of like like watching you play Summer League. I'd come down and watch y'all play Summer League at Scribner or whatever, and it's going to be, I guess, that kind of a feel to it.
Yeah, we have tried to approach it just like any other game. Of course, we continue to, I get questions all the time about, hey, when you're going into this, did you talk about the 31-year drought, or did you talk about how they beat you last year? And we never talk about any of that stuff. We are just trying to be matter of fact and look at the next game, the next opponent, and try to stay laser focused on that. And so we really haven't talked about any of these things. Everybody that's ever played sports, you've played in an empty arena before, or whether that be, these guys play AAU basketball and that kind of thing. So, we've had games where we are in a 5,000 seat arena and there's 150 people there in a regular season game before, and you're talking to your team about, we got to bring our own energy. The bench has got to be into the game and supply our own energy. And so this won't be any different than one of those games, except the opponent is really, really good.
And as are you, so that's why it's going to be an incredible game. And I'll be honest with you, I really hope they go forward for so many selfish reasons. But I want to see the kids because I had Anthony Leal on earlier, and he talked about how much this means to the players, which we already know. They just want to play the game. They want to be able to let their senior seasons be dictated. If they get beat, you get beat. But at least you feel like you went out the way trying and you went down swinging. So I hope that they all of you, the kids, the coaches, everyone gets the opportunity for that.
Yeah, and that would be fantastic. Although, at the end of the day, obviously there's bigger issues involved, the ones that are way beyond my pay grade. And I know that whether you're at the IHSA or, the governor's office and so forth, and they're privy to a lot more information about this thing. And so we'll do whatever they tell us to do, and we'll enthusiastically support whatever decisions are made. That's not just a company line. It's just that I just realized there's a lot of things that have to be taken into consideration, and we got to watch out for the safety of everybody, especially the kids. That's what I'm mostly worried about. My 20 guys, and so whatever the people with all the information think, we'll go along with that, and we'll take every precaution available, and then we'll play our tails off if we get a chance to.
Coach, I can't wait, man. I hope it all happens because I'm looking forward to it. Great games, and congratulations on another great season and in getting that program turned around. I look forward to watching you guys. Tell my old neighbor, Ben Purvis, I said hello, keep him straight, and look forward to seeing you guys in Seymour tomorrow.
Well, Ben's had a great year for us as a captain. He is a unique leader, and so you should be proud of your old neighbor. So I will pass that along. Thanks a lot.
I always am because I'd always hear him out there, that ball hitting the ground about 11 o'clock at night. And I used to call my daughter and say, hear that? That's practice right there.
Well, he's getting rewarded for all those efforts. So that's
I appreciate you. Coach, thank you so much, and good luck.
All right. Take care, Jim.
Coach Todd Sturgeon from the Floyd Central Highlanders joining us as of right now, the IHSA tournament, you heard him, as of 9 a.m., they got a text saying that here's the protocol for how things are going to go. Of course, that's subject to change. As we've seen, things change in rapid succession over these last few days. But we're looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to getting to go see those games. I mean, you got Christian Lander, you've got Anthony Leal, like I said, and of course Floyd Central with Jake Heidbreder, and then they've got a great cast as well. So, and some great coaches. I mean, these coaches, Todd Sturgeon, of course, he's been around for a while. Been at UIndy, done a phenomenal job. Of course, Holmes at over at J.R. Holmes at Bloomington South. I mean, he's the godfather of coaches right now. So just a lot going on. Hopefully they're able to get through it. I mean, I know that they're trying their darndest to get this thing through. And I hope that all the precautions they've taken, that the parents are on board, or I don't think that they would be doing this if that wasn't the case, if everybody wasn't on board, if they haven't taken all the precautions they think that they need to take, which of course, that can all be out the window, but who knows? But it's just a crazy time, man. It's just a crazy time. But that's going to wrap it up for us today off of this crazy week. We will be back Monday. Unfortunately, we were hoping to have some shows during this weekend at night. I was hoping to be talking to you tonight about Indiana's last night's win over Penn State and tonight's impending win over Maryland, because I really thought that that's how it was going to be. Jake felt the same, right?
Let's just count it as we won the Big Ten tournament. We were the last game, so.
Well, I think that Tim posted that, sent me a text or a post that said that, yeah, Indiana wins the last game of the Big Ten, so they're the champion. But we did see the ACC crown Florida State as the champion, I think, which is crap and they asked the commissioner, Big Ten commissioner yesterday, Kevin Warren, about that. And he said, yeah, I'm not we had 3 guys tied for the championship. I don't think we'll be crowning anybody, which is the truth. It's just a lost year, man. But we're going to be back Monday. We'll be back every day. We've got plenty. We'll continue to have guests. Don Fisher will be with us on Monday. Everything's normal here for us. So keep staying tuned. We appreciate you guys. We'll all keep coming to you from the Golf Club at Eagle Point Studios. Todd will be back on Monday, as will I. Until then, for Jake, I'm Jim Coyle, and I will see you on the radio.